And the old guy says, I said marmalade, not Marvin Gaye, but we did get it on.
Nice.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Where's Carl here on the Monkey Caviar Podcast Network. I'm Tiny, your host. With me, as always, is a man who knows that dressing up in sports equipment does not make you a knight of the realm. Adam Levy. Adam, how are you today, sir?
I am great. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. Do you believe that a gift certificate for the Academy could suit you for war?
Well, in this show, definitely.
I mean, Lucille could be bought at the Academy as well. So
yeah,
you could. I guess you could arm yourself fairly well. I don't know that a catcher's chest protector is the best way to go, but
well, I don't know. Some catcher's gear. I mean, the helmet. You get the little neck protector thing. You might be doing okay.
Shin pads, and you're ready for some street hockey, if nothing else.
Well, yeah. If you get goalie attire, you probably do okay in the zombie apocalypse.
I look like a goalie, eh? You can take zombie heads out with the glove side. Well, we did not get street hockey in this episode of The Walking Dead. What we did get was a bottle episode. Welcome to the kingdom, everybody. We're never going to leave.
No, this is a great introduction to the kingdom. It was a much welcome change after last week's episode. Despite what some people made, we needed an episode like this to just kind of give everybody a chance to heal after last week's brutal season premiere. And this is
heal. What? I didn't have to heal. I went to the eye doctor, had my eyes checked because I was afraid they were bugging out of my head. But no, I didn't need to heal.
Well, after watching some of those reactions on the internet, I think people needed to heal.
It was so good. I love people. Thank you for being so passionate about The Walking Dead that you cried, that you yelled, that you fell back on beds. Yeah. Opened my mouth greatly, more something like.
Yeah, I did that once or twice. I don't understand the death threats via Twitter and Instagram to Jeffrey Dean Morgan and other people on the show.
Norman Reedus,
Robert Kirkman, the writers and producers.
Yeah.
That's going a bit overboard. I understand that you love your show. I love the show too, but not to the point where I'd threaten somebody's life over it.
Yeah, I think that's going too far. A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
There's a thing going on right now with the Big Brother Over the Top and the Rob Has a Podcast people. They're kind of controlling the game via polls on Twitter and whatnot. And now they're starting to get death threats. So that's kind of awesome. They're just guys doing a podcast. And,
well, that's how you tell that's how you can tell you're doing something right when people want to kill you.
Right. I would love for people to be like, if you guys don't stop doing Where's Carl, I'm going to kill you. I'll be like, bring it on, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm dying for that kind of press.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Do you think, and I think, that the reveal of King Ezekiel would have been a hell of a lot sweeter had they not given it to us in the season preview?
No, I mean, people that know the comic books know that this was coming. So, I mean, there are a lot of people that are watching the show that don't know anything about the comic books that are just watching the show because it's a great show. And so, at this point, revealing a big character like that in the upcoming episode trailer, I don't think is like a big spoiler. But like I said, for the people that know the book and know the story, we knew it was coming, so it really wasn't like a holy shit kind of shocking moment. The tiger, that was for people that don't read the books, they might be kind of thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Why has this guy got a tiger? Why does he call himself a king? So that
like he does.
Exactly.
I mean, you got dropped off in a Renaissance fair, and this is what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bizarrely, I went to the Renaissance fair on Saturday and then watched Walking Dead on Sunday, and I was like, fuck, I'm down with this. I just saw this guy.
Did you see somebody with the tiger at the Renaissance fair?
About to fucking shit my pants.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand for people that don't know the story, having a character like Ezekiel, pop in might seem a bit weird. You've got this guy who's running his little community like a medieval kingdom. He's referring to himself as royalty, talks like he does, like he walked right out of the Ren Fair. It might seem a bit weird, but
is it any more weird than the governor or Negan or anybody else that's been in command of any large group of people in The Walking Dead?
Just in the way he presents himself.
Completely eccentric.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Given time, you're going to see somebody. You're going to see everybody. Every kind of personality. Show up in this kind of post-apocalyptic world. Some do better than others. People like Eugene need a strong person to latch onto. A lot of these people that are survivors they're not all going to be Ricks and Daryls. They're going to be, there are going to be a lot of Eugenes out there that need somebody strong to look over them and to lead them. And
the red shirts.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, so having it, and I guess being a leader, there's got to be some kind of eccentricity in there. I mean, Negan is just batshit crazy. The governor, he was more, I don't know, I'd say kind of hedonistic.
Not batshit crazy. He was pretty fucking crazy.
He was, but not Negan crazy. I mean, he seemed more like, you do okay here. I'm going to take care of you. They had the zombie games and stuff like this. I mean, it was all about entertainment. Yeah. Yeah. And heads and fish tanks.
Fish tanks is a little weird.
It is. And keeping your daughter on a chain because she's a zombie,
I love Penny.
Good old Penny. Yeah. So, I mean, so the people that you see, I mean, there wasn't anybody like that really, like in Alexandria, in Hilltop. I guess probably the closest you get to being like to an eccentric kind of person is Jesus.
Yeah, I guess, but I think the Hilltop's kind of like, it's like the cool hippie commune.
It is the kind of the hippie commune.
It's the
Alexandria's
good.
Alexandria's the suburbs. The Hilltops is the hippie commune, and the Kingdom is the Renaissance Fair. It's where the geeks go.
The geeks are there. They got a traveling choir that does Bobby D. Yeah. They got plenty of food and harvesting going on.
They've got livestock.
And they have Jerry. And Jerry might be the greatest character in the Kingdom right now. I love me some Jerry. If not just produces, but fruit time.
And
it's fruit time.
And don't forget, they've got breakfast and lunch cobbler.
I have a note about Carol's freaking out. That's much later, but Carol freaks out about every meal cobbler.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was such thing as every meal cobbler. I thought it was strictly dessert.
Same here, but I mean, if you can make breakfast pasta, I don't see why you can't have a breakfast cobbler.
For any of our nobody viewing, if you can make a cobbler for breakfast, let us know because we'll come over and we'll try it.
Sounds good to me.
Feed us.
We asked for nothing in return.
So, well, we're kind of skipping around a few places, but how did you like Carol's reaction to Ezekiel and Shiva?
Oh, I thought it was brilliant. It was absolutely hilarious because you've never seen Carol like this, even when she's faking, with other people. This is the first time you've ever seen her just like so completely overwhelmed and happy. I mean, it was all an act. We know that, but I mean, it was just priceless to see her react like this.
Melissa McBride needs many, many Emmys. She's so brilliant.
Yeah.
The look on her face is at the same time, it is, what the fuck is this guy doing? Oh my God, you're precious. Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
He's up there with his fair maidens and all this bullshit. And she's not buying it. She's not buying any of it. And he's pretty wise to her game.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't let on quite early. He kind of lays back and lets her think, he's fucking wackadoo, and he's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, and he even admits that later on, in the episode when he reveals who he really is to Carol. He just, he was playing a part because that's kind of how people saw him, and so he wanted to keep that up.
Do you think that was a bit fast to give us the backstory on all that? Because I really think the not comic book fans, we know the backstory.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your tragic regular viewer who doesn't watch our podcast, because why would they?
Well, they should be.
They're looking at that and going, I lost my point. Where was I?
About his backstory?
I'm giving away his backstory so early. Yeah, wouldn't you want to boil on that for an episode or two? Like, holy shit, where did he get the tiger?
I think for the regular viewers, the fact that holy shit, he has a tiger, they might want answers early on. Again, I mean, this isn't quite a Happy Days Fonzie jumping the shark kind of moment, but it is one of those things that are like, okay, you've got a guy in the zombie apocalypse with a pet tiger. How is this working? So maybe giving us a little bit, to explain some of the crazier things going on. I mean, I think it just kind of worked at this point and especially, with him opening up to Carol like that, I think we needed that to get Carol to kind of trust him a little bit more.
Because they're going to bone.
Totally.
Oh, they're so going to bone. All right, we'll get to my boning predictions later in the show. Stay tuned. Because there is definitely a boning prediction. So they go on a pig run. Pigs eat those pigs to Negan.
See, I wasn't quite sure what was going on at first. You see pigs running through the city, eating zombies. They lure him into a room with another zombie hanging from the wall, and I'm like, why are they feeding these pigs tainted flesh? I mean, this can't bode well for the survivors in the kingdom. And then when Ezekiel's like, oh no, they're going a different way, and I'm like, oh, this is their tribute to Negan. This makes perfect sense.
So they fatten Negan's pigs up on rotten flesh and then send them over to the Saviors, hoping they get dysentery.
I mean,
because you died of might be the Oregon Trail way that The Walking Dead ends. Just the very last episode, it just everyone died of dysentery.
Yeah, just you see a river of like blood and shit, and you died of dysentery.
Just pops up on the screen. They all died of dysentery
in like 8-bit characters.
That's brilliant. 8-bit, or that could also happen on Westworld. Either way. Who could have with them? So yeah, that was great. Is that a good move, trying to poison him, or are they just acting like a pissed off server at a Chili's?
I think it's a little bit of both. Nobody likes the situation they're in with Negan and his saviors. I mean, the fact this guy comes along and basically says, "Hey, give me half your stuff, or I'm going to kill you."
Next week's produce week, you better produce.
Yeah, I love that line. Yeah, I mean,
great line.
And I mean, I don't know if they realize the fact that if Negan were to kill all these people in these in these communities, then he'd get shit. So they're doing work for him, and if they don't care, if they just wanted to die, they could. But Negan's threat of give me half your shit, or I'm going to kill you all, it really holds no water, because if you kill everybody, then he's going to have to spread his forces out to try and do the same things that they were doing, and it weakens them around. But at the same time, if you can give him your tribute and make him happy while at the same time trying to hurt him from within, that works too. Because I mean, how are they going to know that they're eating pigs that have been feeding on dead flesh?
They will. It's brilliant. I can't wait to see what they do with the produce first. During the pig run, that Ben, our newest guy, Ben is really shitty at killing walkers because he hits them in the shoulder.
Yeah.
The only walker that I'm swinging for the shoulder is like if I see Tom Brady Walker walking by, I'm going to be like, no, I'm going to hack his fucking arm off first. just at a pure principle, I would hang his arm off and then be like, okay, on with the rest of it, and I'd stab him in the face.
Yeah, I mean,
but I would definitely.
I mean, Ben had a machete. He's got a pretty big blade. The head is a pretty easy target to aim for. But yeah, he missed by a good few inches. But then you also find out he's no good at firearms either. So what's that tell you about this kid?
It tells you that Ben's about to die.
Yeah, that's what it tells me. Ben is probably not long for this world.
Well, I have a whole second page of notes here that will explain why Ben is a dead man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of characters you can look at and be like, they're gonna die, that guy might pull out, but they're gonna die.
It's all over. Anybody that was just background, they're dead.
Yeah.
Poor Jerry's going out bad. I know it. He's even wearing a red shirt, so he's marked. But Morgan's walking around the kingdom like he's Kane from Kung Fu. He's taking on Padawan learners, Ben, who is not very good with the staff either.
Well, he's only had 1 day to train. I mean, how long does it take Morgan to get to where he was?
Hey, full 100% Karate Kid montage to get that shit learned. If he doesn't have it done by the end of a montage, they put the Bobby Dylan song in. They did the whole Karate Kid montage, except for him standing up on the thing and doing the crane kick. It was all there. Sweep the leg at one point.
Well, they're gonna shout that when he's actually face to face with the zombie and his staff. You're gonna get the sweep the leg moment. I think that's where we're finally gonna get.
Steffi in our chat room says Ben is too nice and naive. That means he's gonna die.
Yeah. Nice and naive in the zombie apocalypse it's code for you dead.
It's great if you're Carol, but it's lousy if you're anybody else.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that when Carol was nice and naive, she had a big support system around her. She wasn't going out on runs. She wasn't going out and necessarily putting herself in danger. Ben is the kind of he's in a position where he's going to be put in danger. And
so poor Ben.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the over/under on Ben's death. I think Ben is dead before the mid-season finale.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think by the mid-season finale, he's toast.
I think episode 7 we say in memoriam to Ben, and be like, "Yep, told you." Now it puts Morgan in a worse place emotionally because he's now going to grow attached to the kid. King Ezekiel wants Ben to be some grand part of the realm. He's fucking Arthur on the knights table.
Well, it's because Ben's dad is a great warrior, I think, and he kind of wants Ben to live up to that, that reputation.
And Eli Manning's dad was a great quarterback. It doesn't mean Eli is.
Oh, poor Eli.
I get to take shots at the Giants. Oh man, that was good. It doesn't come up.
I love Kevin and Bean in the morning. Whenever something football related comes up with Eli, they love making fun of Eli Manning.
He's a mouth breathing dummy. That's what.
Yeah, I mean they play him off as if he is mentally ill. Just the intelligence of a first grader who've been hit in the head with a rock a few too many times.
Too many times. It's like Lucy just constantly pulling the ball away.
Yeah.
So I wrote in my notes, I made a bold prediction. I said that Negan will actually put Lucille to Ben's head and to dispatch the young Ben.
See that I'm not sure. I think he could go out in a number of ways. I think if I had to guess, he's gonna try and be brave, and he's gonna crit fail a roll, and he's gonna be a zombie food.
He's gonna try to do something he shouldn't do. But that's how I think he ends up in Negan's possession. I think he tries to make a move against them on his own, and it fails. Excuse me. And Negan takes him hostage, takes him out in front of them, and goes, "Look, I told you."
Yeah. No, and
that could take us into events for the mid-season finale.
Yeah, I mean that could definitely happen too. I mean we've only seen Negan interact with the Alexandria people, with Rick and them so far. We haven't seen him interact. We've seen his people interact with the Hilltop. We haven't seen any. We've seen a little bit of the interaction with the Kingdom today, but yeah, we haven't seen Negan actually interact with any of these people yet. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I want it to be interesting because it's going to be the same way he's interacted with Rick and them so far. There's no reason to change his, who he is and how he is to these different groups.
I don't recall Ben from the comic book, so I don't have any reference on him.
No.
I know how things are supposed to go down according to the book, but I think this could be a nice catalyst for getting Ezekiel more motivated towards taking on the Saviors.
Yeah.
It would also help put Morgan on that path, and also the person that's going to get medieval on Negan, which is Carol.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to figure out how they're going to tie Alexander to the Kingdom yet, because Hilltop has never mentioned him, so we don't know if Hilltop knows him. They should, but nobody in Alexandria's ever mentioned the Kingdom, so I don't think anybody there knows about him. So it's going to be Morgan coming back is going to have to be, the one that introduces the two groups. But yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be something to motivate Ezekiel to want to team up with Rick and the people at Hilltop to try and take Negan down once and for all.
Has Rick already made a deal with Hilltop for protection, right?
Yeah, he did that last season.
Okay, so he's already done that. So
yeah,
we know that if he goes and offers Ezekiel the same deal, then he's basically just turning into Negan 2.0.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, and that was kind of what that's kind of what the deal was. Basically, said, hey, actually, I think it was Maggie that made the deal in the last season.
You're right. You're right. It was Maggie.
Yeah. Basically said, give us half your stuff and we'll take care of Negan for you. So yeah, they basically, we're replacing a sadistic dickhead for, a former police officer who's only out to protect him and his people. So I mean, I guess
now that we know that they're feeding the Savior's rotten pig, we know that they too have a beef with Negan. So
well, I mean, you got to figure anybody that's not part of Negan's crew has a beef with him.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very feasible. All these groups are coming together to take on the big bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, when somebody comes along and says, basically, give me half your stuff, you're going to do it until you find a way to not have to give them half your stuff anymore.
Right. Until you can take half their stuff.
These individual groups realize that they're not strong enough to take on Negan, but maybe if they have an alliance, if they have these three communities together, then they can actually, stand up and pose a threat to them.
And it comes down to, and I think it's with all of these little groups, and maybe it's just me, but if you take out Negan, is Negan broke? Are the Saviors broken if you just take out one guy?
It kind of seems that way. I mean, Negan does have a right-hand man, but for the most part, I don't think Negan lets other people make decisions in this group. I'm sure there's somebody that could probably step in and take care of the people, but not the way Negan would.
Did you notice? I'm sorry. Somebody pointed out to me? Did you notice when Jeffrey Dean Morgan's name comes up on the credits?
There's like a baseball bat.
No, there's an iron.
Oh,
by the fire.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, that'll come up. That'll come up later, but
when we get Scarface's backstory, I'm sure.
Yeah, Elvis from The Creep on Monkey Caviar pointed out that there was an iron there, and I was watching last night. I was like, oh, holy shit, he's right.
Yeah, I mean, and if they hold true to the book, we'll see a couple other people get that treatment, in this series. Because that's his form of, that's how he punishes people.
Steffi in our chat room says that Negan's a smart villain, while the rest of them just seem like thugs. Well, I don't see Ezekiel as a thug.
Well, what do you mean when she says smart villain? Does she mean is she only referring to the people in the Negan's group, or is she referring to all the governor and all these other people?
Well, I added the villain. She just said Negan is a smart one. The rest seem like thugs.
In that group, yeah, for the most part. I mean, just because I don't think they're all dumb, but I think for the most part that the way Negan's got that power system set up, that you don't think for yourself. You don't do something unless he tells you to do it. Negan is the law in that group, in the Saviors.
But if you look at it more as like a mafia kind of thing, where he's like capo de capo.
Yeah.
If you take out the capo, then there's a vacuum. Somebody's going to take that spot. He may not be the smartest guy, but he's definitely somebody's going to take over running the Saviors. And until somebody, can step up to a Negan-like level, it could just.
But at the same time, you also have to wonder, if would losing Negan cause a lot of the people to scatter?
They have to scatter too.
Well, I mean, I don't think we've only seen a handful of people from the Saviors. There are people in the group that aren't just straight assholes like Negan and the people that we've seen. So you have a feeling that some of them would probably, some of them don't want to be there as it is. So maybe these people would see like the death of Negan or Negan being removed from power as a chance to get away and try and find someplace better. Because I mean, Negan's got some very harsh rules and some harsh punishments for the people that break these rules within his group. The Iron.
I'm far enough to know. I know a little bit about what happens with Negan, but do we ever find a big chunk of his backstory?
I don't remember if we do or not. I don't know if I got that far into the book.
Because I would love to find out what Negan did as a professor. Or no, what was his job prior to this?
I want to say it's been explained, but I don't think I read that far. Okay. I think it gets into that after All Out War.
All right. So I haven't read past All Out War because I'm trying to stay with where we're at, so I don't get too spoiled on anything.
Yeah.
I am reading ahead far enough to know that, because things happen to different people. So I want to be safe.
We're getting to the point of Game of Thrones for me where it's getting to the point where I don't know what's coming up next.
I got those books up and I'll send you the links to them. So
you sent me the links. I just haven't pulled them yet. I mean, I've read through All Out War. I've read through the end of All Out War and a little bit after that. I stopped right around the time the whole Whisperers thing was kicking up.
All right, and that will be next week off. The Whisperers are a bit off still.
Yes.
Though were those the W's we saw earlier in the season have any relevance to the Whisperers?
No, that was from the Wolves. I think we're still seeing the remnants of the Wolves.
All right. So well, do you know where they're at geographically?
At this point, no, I'm not sure.
I don't know where they are. They were in DC, right? Like closer to DC.
I think so, yeah.
Bob's in Virginia, right? And then they were going to, so they got to be close to there. But there was a city in the background of the Ezekiel thing, and I couldn't tell what city it was.
Yeah. All I know is that cities are bad at this point. Stay away from cities.
Steffi said she only got as far as Glenn's head getting smashed in the comics. Well, that's issue 100. It's a good place to leave off.
Yeah, I think I've got all 12 covers of issue 100.
Really? There was 12.
Well, yeah, I think issue 100 had a bunch of covers, and then the first issue of All Out War had 13 covers that made one giant poster.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it sucks. So you only got to buy 13 copies of a book, just because you want the cover.
Right? Yeah. You got to spend $60 on the same book.
Yeah, exactly.
Choir in the Kingdom. The choir director, a bit of a hippie, it looks like, because they're doing a little Bobby Dylan. Twice, it's all right from the Freewheeling Bobby Dylan album. A great album, one of my faves. Good song. And that was the song behind the whole the giant Karate Kid montage.
Man, they really should have gone with with Montage from Team America. That would have made a better montage song.
Should have gone with, or they just should have gone Best Around. See,
straight. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that, but that's one of the best montage songs ever.
Something Esposito, Phil Esposito, something.
Yeah, Phil Esposito.
It's proper new, but I think Phil Esposito was a hockey player.
Yeah, you're probably right. It is Esposito, I believe.
But it is Esposito. Yeah, so
Yeah.
go Karate Kid.
That is one of the best montage songs I can ever think of. Yeah.
It was a total montage.
But I like the fact that
Awesome.
Ezekiel knows that the people in his community need some kind of recreation. A choir, a library, things like this, because when you realize
a guitarist that'll make you cry.
Yeah, the guitarist that'll make you cry. If you're living in this kind of world where pretty much everything is out there to kill you, zombies and other people. If you're constantly living in a state of fear, then what's the point? Why are you going to even get up and go farm some fields and raise livestock, whatever? I mean, there's got to be something worth getting out of bed for.
I agree.
And by giving these people this little break, this little chance to kind of get out of this mindset that they're in, that they're living in the end times, basically. I think it's a great thing to give these people a little bit of hope and cheer.
Yeah, there was one of the earlier episodes. At one point, they get a radio on and they hear music for the first time in like months.
Yeah,
and to me, that would be something that would be tragic to lose from my life, is not being able to hear music all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you could find a way to power up an iPod or something like that, the technology's still there. I mean, we saw solar power in Woodbury, so they can still generate power. So it's not outside of the realm of possible that somebody could come up with an iPod or something and play some music.
Oh, and that's cool. I dig that part. And like I said, we were talking about this episode being them at The Walking Dead at play. And when they play, some of the times when they play, it's like my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
This was a bit too much, but I understand it's a breath. It's last week was so rough that you needed a break. And we learned this episode was supposed to be episode 3.
Yeah, Robert Kirkman is on. Robert Kirkman is on a radio show here in Southern California this morning, and he said that this was actually going to be episode 3. The episode we're getting next week was supposed to air this week, but they thought because of how emotional that the premiere episode was, they needed a little bit of a break, because it looks like next week is going to get right back into the thick of things. So give the fans a chance to kind of catch their breath and get ready for what's coming next, because I think this season's going to be pretty bad for our group.
Here's what's going to happen next week on Walking Dead. Ben's dead. And Ben is dead, and Carol and Ezekiel bang, 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 bang.
Instead of bang, bang, bangity bang.
Bang, 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 bang,
I love that show.
I don't need to. All right, we've been skipping all over in this episode, but it's all one thing. It's just the one story, and so let's get to the. It turns out that Ben has a young son that he has to protect as well, Dutch, who eats his broccoli like a good boy, and they just keep.
Well, I don't know. Was Dutch his son, or was it just a kid that he was looking after?
Unclear. I tried to figure it out, but he didn't say. He said Ezekiel's helping me raise him.
Okay.
Didn't say that he was the boy's father. He's pretty young, Ben, and the kid was like 8. So it might be a little improbable. But even if he's just a stray they picked up, it still gives you more sympathy for poor Ben, so that when he's dead, it hits you even harder.
Exactly. And so what's the thing we talked about last week? What we talked about last week is when you're happy, that's when you know you're going to die.
You're going to die. You're going to die so hard.
You don't ever talk about being happy, about finding the one true love, about wanting to make, about pancake batter. You don't talk about these things. You just kind of keep your head down and you do your job. And then if you die, it's because it's some tragic circumstance, not because, oh, well, you're marked for death at this point.
If you find a big can of pudding, you open the can of pudding and enjoy the pudding. You don't tell everybody about the pudding. You just eat it and enjoy the pudding. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. You don't walk around with a giant smile on your face. You don't walk around skipping and doing cartwheels. You just eat the fucking pudding and you go about your day.
Stevie in the chat room says she thought that Dutch was Ben's brother.
That makes sense.
I can buy that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can buy that. I'm down for that. Okay, cool. Accept that as canon. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All we know is that he's got a kid he's looking after.
It must be true.
Oh, he's got a kid he's looking after.
One person. Thank you, Steffi, for being in our chat room, because I love that we have a chat room to go to. It actually adds so much to the show.
See, as soon as I can get my second monitor stand and I can have my dual monitors up, I can have the video on one side, I can have the chat room on the other side, and I'll just be styling. That'd be great.
Why do you need video in that vein? That you must
no, I'm watching the video of the recording, so I see you mostly.
Oh, all right. Well, you saying I talk too much?
No. Well, no,
it's totally true.
It's like picture in picture, so I've got you, I've got you on the big and I've got me on the little one, so I can kind of see both there. But
I got you. I just popped my window up over the top of my
nice.
So I can just totally see the chat, and then I run my window over the other window. But yeah, that's technical shit you guys don't care about, so let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to Carol trying to bolt. Carol wants to leave, but Ezekiel doesn't want her to leave because.
Well, Carol's wanted to leave since she regained consciousness, and before we get
that's Carol. That's her first.
Before we get into that, before we get into Carol wanting to bolt, can we talk about Carol in the beginning of the episode? What was with these visions she was having of like all these zombies as like real people?
Right, she's having fever dreams of real people.
Yeah.
Fever dream, and that's what I'm going to go with because they stopped after she kind of woke up.
Yeah.
But yeah, as she was coming in, I forgot to mention a great bit of zombie killing by the Knights and Morgan.
Yeah.
At the very beginning of the episode, they cleaned some house.
Yeah, they did,
and it looks like they're pretty well trained. These Knights of the Square Table, or I don't know, they may have a round table. I don't know, but.
Yeah, I mean, not many people can fight on horseback anymore these days, Unless you worked at medieval times.
Richard seems pretty adept, and we know Richard because, well, he's going to die.
Yeah. I mean, maybe these people all worked at medieval times, and, that's why they've got the skills they have on horseback.
Glenn was a pizza guy. There's got to be somebody that worked in medieval times and still around.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I want to see one of these guys with a lance. Yeah, I want to see one of these guys with a lance going through and just like mowing down zombies.
And some of them were spiking them in the head like from top down. Yeah, that was kind of cool. But yeah, they did a great job cleaning up the zombies. Or the walkers.
Yeah,
I dig them. They seem pretty well trained, and
well, they seem better trained than the people at Hilltop. That's for sure.
Yeah, but then they seem trained, but you don't see any of that training because then Morgan has to train poor Ben, the Karate Kid. So, and now it looks like Morgan's the only teacher there, so I'm not quite sure.
Well, let's see. I don't know about that. I mean, it's like Ezekiel said that Ben wasn't good with the knife and he wasn't good with the firearm. So maybe he's going to be good with something else. So we chances are Ben has been trained in something. Ben just sucks. Ben is not a fighter. Ben is not.
Okay, Richard seems to have his shit relatively together. He's like, security, and they even say during the pig swap that if they got to come back, he's going to be the first one to go.
Well, yeah, well that's because he was fighting with crazy dude there.
All right, let's talk about that little fight there. So they have a little Donnybrook during the pig exchange.
Yeah.
It looks like our man Richard is getting the better of the Savior scumbag, who looked a lot like Mo Berg from the band The Pursuit of Happiness, but that's a whole different thing. And Ezekiel says, "Wait a minute, no, stop! We don't do this."
Yeah,
it's like, oh wow, I get a free shot, punches him in the face
twice.
Oh, man, I'm all for nonviolent protest, but I'm not going to let my guys get punched in the face. That's not happening.
But look how quick it was. Look how quick Morgan was to draw a gun in that situation too, considering he doesn't like firearms.
He drew, but then he looked at it and had to have a tender moment with it and put it back in his holster and be like, "Nope, I'm not doing it."
No, I mean, but a few episodes ago, he wouldn't have even done that. I don't think.
But he also doesn't know what Negan's done yet.
No, but he knows of Negan. He knows of the Saviors and what they're capable of.
Of course, he does know of the Saviors, but he doesn't know that Glenn got his head bashed in, and so did Abraham. And when that happens,
he doesn't know that yet.
When that happens, if you were to put Morgan in that position where he had a gun pointed at Negan and could have saved Glenn, would he have pulled the trigger? Of course he would have.
Yeah.
We all would have. Every person that reacted poorly on the internet would have.
It's like I said, he was able to shoot a person to save Carol at the season 6 finale. So we know he isn't completely opposed to killing. It's almost like for him, it's got to be like there is absolutely no other option.
Well, he even asked Ezekiel if he brought him to the pig exchange because he knew he'd be capable of pulling the trigger. And Ezekiel said, "No, I did it for the exact opposite reason."
Yeah.
Because he's all about contradiction, this guy. So whatever you think, no, but the other thing.
Yeah.
He said contradiction about 5 times in this episode. Okay, we get it. You're the opposite of everything we've seen before. But yeah, let's see. What's this? The chat says it shows how close to flipping Morgan. He's on the edge. Oh yeah, Morgan's on the edge.
I mean, Morgan talked to when he was talking with Ben how about how you have to find your own path and how you can change and things like this. And I think Morgan was talking more about himself than about Ben. Morgan has been on a couple different paths throughout the course of the show. When you first meet him, he's a father trying to protect his son. Then you see him again. He's kind of lost his mind and just built this little crazy, fort around the shop he's living in and just, taking shots at people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's like you said, he's Kane from Kung Fu. He's all pacifist, beating people with sticks, but not killing them. Just beating them and sending them on their way. So we've seen many sides of Morgan throughout the show, and I think at this point Morgan still isn't quite sure who he's supposed to be.
He's yet another metaphor in this episode.
Yeah.
This episode shouldn't have been called The Well. It should have been called The Metaphor. Because everything, even drink from the well, replenish the well, is a metaphor for something else.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a metaphor. There's a Shiva that's a metaphor. There's Morgan that's a metaphor. There's Ben that's a metaphor. There's the well that's a metaphor. And they're all contradictory.
That's one great way to put that episode. Yeah.
That's what I got out of this episode. Metaphor upon metaphor that are all contradictory.
Yeah.
And all right, so now do you have anything else on? I think we've covered Ben to death.
Sadly, if Ben got covered to death, he'd probably be okay. But no, Ben's going to go on a completely different way.
Poor Ben. Yeah. All right. So Carol has robbed the place blind of goodies, and she's getting ready to bolt out.
She got some clothes. She got a knife. She was sneaking around the garden, taking some fruit.
And then Ezekiel says, like, "Hey, what's up? Because I see everything you do."
Yeah.
He says he sees through her bullshit. Says, "Don't bullshit a bullshitter."
Yeah.
Backstory on her, just like, I was a zookeeper and she was a hurt tiger, and then she was just protecting me, and now she's just cool.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden he's Lenny fucking Kravitz with the tiger. Accent was gone. The whole medieval fucking way of talking was gone. He even said dude at one point.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I liked him, I think the whole medieval shtick was getting a little old. I think, I want to see more of him as the real Ezekiel, and I'm sure we'll see that with certain characters. You'll see it like that with Carol, obviously. When Rick and them come around, I'm sure he'll probably drop the actor on them.
No, I think he'll have it at first, but it'll quickly. Oh, the audience is gone. Okay, now that we're alone. Let me tell you. Steffi says he's a cyborg. That'd be a twist.
Yeah.
Expected from the comic book, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they can't find a cure for this, but they have cyborgs.
So he wants her to stay in the kingdom. She wants to leave and go back to Alexandria. So they make a compromise, I guess.
Yeah, go but stay.
She says he's Cyborg from Teen Titans.
Oh yeah, he does the voice for Cyborg for Teen Titans. Yeah.
I got you. Sorry, yeah, my bad.
Robert Kirkman was joking about that on the radio this morning. He's like, my kids love that show. He's like, so he recorded a message for my kids as Cyborg, and they're like, is that how we got the job? He's like, that's exactly how we got the job.
That's right.
That is absolutely. He's like, one thing to take away from this is like, I'm easily bribable.
Like, if I can't get Michonne to leave the voicemail on my phone, I mean, that's what I want. This Michonne, leave, I will stab you with a sword. Beep. That's exactly what I want. Because I don't think I could get her to say I'm doing Tiny's pickle instead of Rick's little pickle. But if I could, I would.
Hey, dream big, right?
I'm not a fan of Dia Gurira. I'm a fan of Michonne.
Yeah.
I'm leaving that open, though, because I heard she's in Black Panther, and I think that's going to be badass. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But mostly, I'm a Michonne guy.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, that's all of my notes on this episode.
Yeah, there was one thing that Ezekiel said to, I think he was talking to Morgan. We talked about his was the pessimist always, the pessimist looks down and bumps his head. The optimist looks up and loses his footing, but the realist looks ahead and adjusts his path accordingly. That was probably one of the greatest things I think Ezekiel said in the episode so far. I mean, for all his, playing the medieval king and all stuff like that, he is a smart guy. He does know what's going on. The way he's interacting with Negan and the Saviors, the way he's, handling the people in his community, the guy is smart. He knows what he's got to do to keep these people alive.
Yeah, he's conducting good business at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
he's keeping his people alive and he's doing what he has to do. And part of that is this medieval facade that he's putting on for them.
Well, it's like he talked about with Carol. He's like, people needed a hero. And he's like, they hear these stories of this guy who found this tiger in the wild and wrestled him into submission. He's like, and all of a sudden that was me. He's like, I'm not going to.
As long as you don't correct him,
yeah, it
becomes legend.
Yeah, he's like, and he's like, that's not me. He's like, but it's what they need, and that's what I'll give them. Smart guy. Because he could easily have taken that and done bad things. He could have become another Negan by having these people believe this about him. But there is still good in this world. We've seen a number of times. For every Negan, there's another Rick out there. There's another Ezekiel. So maybe not.
I'd like to find it.
Well, I'm waiting to see if we get a Rick.
I'd like to see Rick fight Rick. That's why.
But one of them has to lose a hand, though, right?
Well, I would hope one of them would be handless, and one of them would have like Ghost Lori with them. Ooh. She was there for a while in season 3, so we could bring Ghost Lori back.
Well, that's I'm all down with that. They're going to somehow figure out time travel in the Walking Dead universe. Rick's going to go back to try and talk some sense into younger Rick, and we're going to get a Rick on Rick fight.
Oh, that would be awesome. Like this bearded Rick.
Yeah. Like I want season 2 Rick.
Like 2 Rick versus Scruffy season 7 Rick.
Yeah. Or not even season 7, maybe let's get season 6 Rick, right before they get to Alexandria when he's still all scruffy and just not trusting anybody.
Steffi in the chat said he could have a Ghost of Lori. All she'd do is complain. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and do a prediction on between Ezekiel and Carol. It's gonna happen, folks.
Oh yeah.
So without spoiling anything, in the comic book, Ezekiel has a love affair with Michonne. but she is currently dealing with Rick's pickle, and as much as I don't like that.
Well, it's because in the show they killed off Aunt Andrea, who was banging Rick in the comic books at this point.
Correct. So since Rick's getting laid in the comic book by Michonne, we don't think she's going to jump ship just because, you know, black is better. And then at the very end, he goes and knocks on Carol's door. She's like, well, walkers don't knock.
Walkers don't growl either.
Right. But first, like, she's all scared. Like, holy shit, who's that? And like, walkers don't knock. Yeah. And then you hear the growl, and she's like, oh, well, that's who it is.
Yeah.
And so he's out there, mind you, changed his shirt.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen a lot in The Walking Dead. Changed his shirt to go over there and say, you really got to try this with the forbidden pomegranate that he just offers up.
Yeah.
And then she gives that little tweak of a Carol smile, and the episode ends.
I mean, I thought before she left Alexandria, she was going to be banging that other guy that was that she was making cookies for and whatnot.
Right? Yeah. But no. This is the guy. This is going to bang, and I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say episode 6 is the bang.
Well, it's also going to it's going to depend on how many times we see, you know, the kingdom before, you know, we get back. I mean, because, you know, next episode's mostly going to be Daryl. I think the episode after that's probably going to be a lot of Rick. And all
right, I would assume the next Daryl. If the next episode is Daryl heavy, which it looks like it is, that's cool. Then it gives us one more episode to go back to Alexandria, which would be 3. That would be 4. 5 would get us back to the kingdom and a possible banging.
Well, let's see. Well, we're probably going to get, you know, somewhere in there. We got to get Maggie to Hilltop and, you know, have her deal with stuff up there.
Happen next week. I think with Daryl, you can take Maggie to the Hilltop and get her there. At least get her there.
Yeah.
And you can get everybody back to Alexandria and, you know, hey, what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
crazy deal with the bat happened.
So the next week, right? So that the next week we can move on with the story. Now that everybody's back to where they're supposed to be, let's move forward.
Yeah.
And
let's get the banging going on.
6 for the banging, 7 for the Ben death by Negan, and then the mid-season finale will be
them declaring war on Negan.
It'll be the right before All Out War. Yeah. So that's where that's going to land.
That makes sense. I think it's probably a good prediction.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Richard, I think, will make it into the second half of the season before his untimely death.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's probably got a little bit more to do before he goes. I mean, unless they really piss off the Saviors before the mid-season finale. But I don't see that happening.
Jerry is safe until at least the second half of the season.
Yeah.
So
good old Jerry.
Cool. Because I like Jerry. I'm a big fan.
Jerry's fun. Yeah.
It's pretty damn douche. Started talking about the well, and he's like, "Well said."
Yeah, Jerry is some much needed comic relief on the show.
All right, Steffi in the chat thinks Richard will be more towards the end of this season. I disagree. I don't think we're going to get into that big war until much later.
Yeah, probably you'll see it spill over into the first half of season 8, I think.
It may happen where Negan and them will come for Richard because they promised that he would be the first, but that's when Ben's going to get it.
Yeah, Ben will try to step in and save somebody.
Trying to be the man in the situation, and that's going to do it for Benny.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy in this show that was so red flagged that he was going to die. But Ben's.
I mean, the only way it could have been more obvious is if he was wearing his own tombstone around his neck.
He says Ben dies in episode 6 on his shirt. Speaking of self-referencing like that, I watched. My girl put on, what was the name of this stupid movie? Behind the Mask.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I'm not a big horror flick guy.
Okay.
But it's Halloween, and she's like, "Oh, this is my favorite thing." So watch this. So I like a mockumentary at first about a serial killer who's like, Mike Myers and Freddy Krueger, and he compares himself to them. He sets up his spree, and he's like, first, we got to find the girl, the She Lives girl. So they go out and they find the She Lives girl, and at some point, Robert Englund is in it, and he shows up as the guy that wants to save the young girl, and he's like, "Oh my God, I got an Ahab! I got an Ahab! This is so great!" And so Herschel is in it, and Herschel plays like his mentor serial killer, and he's like, "I'm so proud of you that you got an Ahab. That's so awesome!" He sets up this whole ring of murders with this camera crew. And then he starts pulling it off, and they're like, "Oh my, he's fucking actually killing people." And then it stops being a mockumentary and becomes the horror movie that he laid out the whole movie.
Interesting.
He's going to do it, and then
I think I have heard. I think I have heard of this, but I haven't seen it.
It's freaking phenomenally funny. So yeah, check it out. Behind the Mask, it's called.
All right, I'll look for it.
It's just a little bonus stuff. All right. I think that's going to do it. Do you got anything else?
No, I think we're good.
All right, cool. Remember, we got the Fantasy Monkeys tomorrow night with the fantasy football. On Wednesday, we got the Creep on American Horror Story. Nice shirt, Jeff, about Survivor. That's on Thursday. What did I forget? Wednesday, Monkey Caviar. I don't even remember what we're doing, but we're doing something fun all week. So check out the network. Tell all your friends. Steffi in the chat, thanks for chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you.
And
it's always fun to have somebody
we will see you
commenting with us.
Yeah, it's awesome. She comes in for our Monkey Caviar on Wednesday as well. So yay, one fan. We'll get there. We'll get you somebody to play with in the chat room soon. Tell all your friends. Come watch Where's Carl every week. We'll be back next Monday at 11 o'clock. Until then, do harm to no one.